Kol Nidre, where we find out who we are and what God expects us to do. That is the essence of Kol Nidre. That's it. Thank you. You hear all week, try the nachos. No, don't. I figure no one ever said the rabbi talked too little. So, who's ever heard of the Maccabees on Hanukkah? Those of you who aren't sure, don't remember, the Maccabees were this group of Kohanim, of holy priests, and in the 2nd century before the Common Era, these holy priests, they lived in Israel and in Jerusalem. The city and the country had been taken over by the Seleucid Greeks. The Greeks did not want to kill the Hebrews, they just wanted to kill their spirit. They wanted them to secularize, they wanted to become Greco-Roman, they wanted them to become secular political people. Sound like a common problem? And the Maccabees, the Hashmoneans, said no, and these holy priests, for the defense of their families, themselves, and their culture and religion, for all of us, they went to war, not because of physical endangerment, which is what would have been for Purim, but in this case for spiritual. Their spirituality was in danger. And they won, and they rededicated the temple. It's a way of Hanukkah, but that's not the end of the story. Jason, I'm going to ask you, there's a bunch of flashing green lights in the back. We can turn this off. Because 200 years later, the Hashmoneans, instead of staying as priests, they had decided when they came back they would become kings and leaders, and 200 years later, a few generations later, they were no longer who they once were. They were not committed to the people. They were not committed to the families, their culture, the religion in the same way. And because of their corruption, ultimately, that's one of the main reasons, the temple was destroyed in 70 of the Common Era, and we have the diaspora, and we were removed from Israel. But we stay away for almost 2,000 years. It is a cautionary tale. Because no matter how good we are, whatever our intentions are, it's easy to get lost, isn't it? To get seduced, to get used to that slippery slope where Shabbat's not so important. I'll just light candles. Lighting candles is not so important. I'll just go to Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is not that important. I'll just go to Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre is not that important. We'll just go to an hour of Yom Kippur. It doesn't matter what hour, but I'm going to be there 1 hour, not 1 minute more. Yom Kippur is not that important. My children, God forbid, married outside of faith. Judaism is not that important, God forbid. Slippery slope, isn't it? But we all have that slope personally as well. We all forget who we are, don't we? We have goals, we want the right thing, we want to do good, but in fact, we get lost, don't we? No one more so than parents. How many of you are parents? We love our children more than anything, don't we? We want them to be healthy and happy and successful in that order. And sometimes we get harsh with them. And we regret it. Anyone else? Yes, any other parent? I will tell in front of you, Ben and John, I'm sorry for all of that. I'm sorry for every time I got harsh with you last year. And I'm trying to be better. It's because I love you. I'm sorry, boys. So we all do it, don't we? We treat our spouses, our children, our loved ones, our family, our friends, our community, our nation, and we forget what's really important, don't we? Until sometimes it's too late. In 1990, I came back from the Soviet Union. I was a 27-year-old, which means I was arrogant. That might be redundant. My father went in for heart surgery. I had a father type that I would always kiss him good night, hello, goodbye. That's the family I got raised in. I was exhausted. He was scared. He was going in for heart surgery. I did the research. He'd be fine. We got in a fight. One time in my life, I didn't kiss my father goodbye. He died the next morning. Do we need those kind of experiences to remember what is important in life? We all do it, don't we? In one way, small or large, one way or another, we all do that, don't we? We get lost. We lose ourselves. I know a lot of doctors. As far as I know, every doctor that I know of, at least that I personally know, went into the field to heal people. And how many of them have lost that as their goal, and instead, it's about making sure that insurance is covered, or being a concierge doctor, or making sure that you're a member of the right place, so you can go on your vacations to Cabo, or whatever else. I know a lot of rabbis, a lot of ministers. The vast majority of them, when they begin their career, when they're in rabbinic school or ministerial school, they're going because they believe in God. They want to make the world a better place. They want to inspire people. And the majority, as we all know, lose themselves. It becomes about raising money, it becomes about prestige, it becomes about all the things that aren't important. Who they get to hang out with, are they members of Hillcrest? I have a friend, a dear friend who I love very much. He's a very wonderful rabbi, successful rabbi. It's a $30 million building. Right now they're having services for at least 1,800 people live, and God knows how many online. And not too long ago, he was bemoaning to me the fact that he doesn't get to be rabbi very often because he has to spend over half his time courting the big donors because they expect it to raise the money that's needed. He doesn't get to do what he loves, teach and preach, study and learn, and be with people in those special moments of life. We all have that challenge, don't we? Yes? Only Burrell, no one else has that challenge. Either they're all under 18 or retired, I can't see from here. But we all do that, don't we? We lose ourselves. There's a story, Moshe the tailor. You know, there's a lot of Hasidic stories with tailors because tailors repair the world. And Moshe the tailor was a really terrific tailor. He was a really, really good tailor in pre-World War II Poland. And he became very successful. In fact, he became so successful, he was such a good tailor, that he actually became the tailor for Polish noblemen. He got paid a lot more money. He bought whatever the pre-World War II version of a Polish Cadillac was, lived in a big house, had a great life, and he was so proud. I'm the best tailor. No other Yid's working for noblemen. Me, I get to work for noblemen. He was so proud of himself. And one day, the nobleman came to him and said, "My beloved tailor, here's a piece of fabric. I just brought it back from Paris. It is the nicest fabric on the planet. Nicest, I want you to make me the most perfect suit." Which said, "No problem, I'm the best tailor around." And he went and he made this suit, and it was beautiful. Beautiful suit. And then, what did he do? He brought it to the nobleman. "Here you go, it's a perfect suit." And he gives it to the nobleman, and the nobleman puts it on, and he goes, "Fit! This is horrible, it stinks. It's awful. Get out of here, you dirty, filthy Jew. I ever see you again, I will kill you. You better run for your life right now." And so Moshe ran away. Now, even the most secular Jew, the one who is most disconnected from his tribe, the most one who does not go to temple, who's decided to be totally secular, what does he do? Where does he know the one place he can go to? Hopefully, the synagogue and the rabbi. You'd be surprised the calls I get. "Rabbi, I get a call, the grandfather, the grandmother is sick or dying, has died, God forbid. Rabbi, you don't remember me. I was at a high holiday service of yours 12 years ago. But really, I've just been too busy to come to services, but I really need to talk to you." You know what the answer is? How can I help? Always. Because that's what we do as Jews. And so he goes to the rabbi, he says, "Rabbi, what should I do?" And he's crying. And the rabbi says, "Let me see the suit." He shows the rabbi the suit as if the rabbi knows about couture fashion. And he looks at it. He says, "Here's what I want you to do, Moshe. I want you to go back. I want you to rip the suit apart. Take every thread out until it's a plain piece of fabric. And then I want you to sew it back up the exact same way you did." "But Rabbi," he said, "he'll kill me." So do what I told you. And so Moshe went back, he ripped all the fabric out and sewed it back the exact same way. And he was crying as he did because he was so scared he's going to die. And he's praying to God and crying in fear, humility. He goes back to the nobleman because he trusts his rabbi. You can tell this was pre-World War II Europe and not 21st century America. And he does what his rabbi tells him, and he goes to the nobleman, and he says, and he knocks on the door, and the nobleman's about to kill him. He gets out a gun. He says, no, please take, I think I fixed this suit. I think it's perfect. The nobleman says, fine, I'm keeping my gun next to you. If it's not, I'm going to shoot you. And he puts on the suit. He says, Moshe, this is the most beautiful suit I've ever seen in my life. This fits perfectly. And he paid Moshe twice as much he had originally committed. Moshe goes back to the rabbi. He says, Rabbi, I don't understand. It's the exact same suit. What's the difference? The rabbi said, God gave you the gift to be a tailor, but it's not your gift, it's God's. And you were so proud of yourself. Your pride was infused in everything you did. And it stunk. And when you brought that suit filled with your pride, even the Polish nobleman could smell the stench and immediately wanted to take it off. But as soon as he went back and you were humble and you cried and you prayed, humility filled the suit. It was sweet again. Pride gets in our way, doesn't it? We think our skills are ours. There is nothing I have ever done in my life that gives me the merit to be here right now and not to be in some war-torn country, God forbid. True? Every skill I have is a gift from God who could take it away, God forbid, just as quickly. Right? But do we remember that? No. And Kol Nidre is the time to remember this. But here's the challenge. How can we remember? What can we do so we do not lose ourselves? God forbid, could become harsh with our children, become focused on money instead of joy or healing. How can we get ourselves right with God? How can we make it right? How can we have Kol Nidre? What little tool can we have that we can keep both now and all year so we know why we are here and what God wants from us? Because that's why we have the tools in the first place, right? God gave us money, God gave us gifts, God gave us talents, God gave us intelligence so that we could give it to others, not so we could be selfish, right? You can talk to me. There's an answer, again, with a story. When the Bolsheviks took over Russia and made it the Soviet Union, they went to a very big Russian rabbi, many thousands of followers, and they said to him, tell your people to stop practicing Judaism and to be socialists. Be secular. Sound familiar? Doesn't this kind of sound like the Maccabees? He said, the Bolsheviks said, because big rabbi, they said, look, we're going to take care of you. You'll be in a nice house in Petersburg or in Leningrad now, or whatever you may be. But you need to tell all your followers, stop being Jewish. And he said, no. And they put him in prison to think about it, and he still said no. And the water was coming up. They would torture him, waterboarding, whatever the version was then. He said no. And one day, the Bolshevik officer in charge came to him and said, I'm tired of this, you stupid Jew. Pulls out a gun. He says, either commit to telling all of your followers to become secular socialists, I'm going to kill you right here, right now. And he points his gun right at the rabbi's head. How many of you heard this story, by the way? Because it is historically true and verified. And the rabbi looks at him and he says, your little toy doesn't scare me. Because there's really only two choices. Either we believe in one God and many worlds, or in many gods and one world. Either we believe there is one God and everything is a manifestation of that in this world. Everything is a gift from him. Or we believe that there are many gods, your gun, money, prestige, power, whatever it may be. And there are many gods in this one world. I, the rabbi said to this Bolshevik, I know there is one God and many worlds. What do you know? He looked the Bolshevik officer in the eyes, and the Bolshevik, who was not Jewish, by the way, was touched and realized what was important put away his gun and help that rabbi escape. That rabbi was part of the Lubavitcher movement. He was the head of it. And his son-in-law was the one who brought Chabad to this country. It was his son-in-law. One God, many worlds, or many worlds and one, or many gods and one world. Which is it? Either you believe that your money, your prestige, your power, all the things, where you go to dinner, what you drive, either you believe these are gods, and they're all in this one world, or we believe there's one God and one God only, and everything's just a manifestation and a gift from him. Which is it, people? Because every one of us needs to decide right here, right now. That's Kol Nidre. That is the essence of Kol Nidre. It's what takes us out of our pride. See, if we're really willing to get honest and realize there's one God and many manifestations, many worlds, and it changes our behavior, then we don't lose ourselves. Then we find and we listen to God and we find our Tikkun Olam. Now, let me give you a little education. Tikkun Olam does not mean social justice. I don't care what a Reform temple says. That's not what it means. Tikkun Olam is that each of us have a piece of repairing this world that only we can do. I can only do mine. I cannot do Bruce's. Bruce can't do Harrell's. Harrell can't do Alex's. Alex's can't do mine. We each have our piece that God has given us, all of our talents, for just one reason. And our life's journey is to realize and find what that reason is and to do it. It is as if we are all instruments in God's symphony, and our life's journey is to find the one instrument we're supposed to play. I play violin, he plays saxophone, he plays trumpet. I should not be playing saxophone. To find our one instrument, play one note, and play it in tune. And let me give you a teaching. When we can all do that, Zrat Hashem, that's the sound of heaven on earth. When we realize who we are and why God has asked us to do, why we are here. Kol Nidre is very simple. It is a time to get honest and remember what is really important and to act on it. How many of us have walked by a homeless person in the street where we could have bought a sandwich or given them $1? How many of us have ignored someone because they don't seem cool enough, good looking enough, intelligent enough, sophisticated enough, smart enough, wealthy enough, whatever, and so we have ignored them? You want to know how you can see what kind of a human being someone is? See how they treat the servants and the waiters. And if they don't treat them well, they're schmendricks, and that's the polite word. Kol Nidre is the time to remember what is really important in our lives. Why are we here? What are we doing? And what are we doing it for? To find that Tikkun Olam. To remember it is one God and many worlds. To get really, really self-honest. He knew I wanted to be a Baptist preacher. You are healed, my brother. I didn't want to be a Baptist preacher. I wanted to be a rabbi, gospel. There he is. Right? This is what Kol Nidre is about. So here's my challenge to everyone in this room, including myself, or especially myself. Can we remember it really is only one God and many worlds and many variations? Can we live that way? Can we find what we are here to do and do it the best we can? And my prayer for all of us in this Kol Nidre, as we begin Yom Kippur, is that we find who we are, we get very, very honest and make it right with God. We let go of all the illusions that control our lives right now, all the many gods, and realize there's only one, and let's get our relationship right with that one. Because when you do, here's the Kabbalistic secret. When our relationship was really, really right with God, everything else works. Our children, our relationships, with our children, our spouses, our workmates, everything works. But when your relationship with God isn't right, nothing does it? So my prayer for all of us is we truly embrace Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur, Yom HaKippurim, Day of Atonement, and that we truly, choose in this new year to remember what is important not just to talk about it, but to change, to remember, and to live it. Gemar Chatima Tova, may we all be sealed for blessing in the new year. Thank you for being kind to me. Let me say these things.
I saw the sun begin to dim, and felt that winter wind blow cold. A man learns who's there for him, the glitter fades and the walls won't hold. 'Cause from that rubble, what remains can only be what's true. If all was lost, there's more I gain as it led me back to you. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the light. From now on, let's wait until tomorrow starts tonight. Let this promise in each heart, like an anthem in my heart. From now on, from now on. Drink champagne with king's queens, politicians praise my name. But those are someone else's dreams, the pitfalls of the man I became. For years and years, I chased their cheers, a crazy speed of always needing more. But when I stop and see you here, remember who all this was for. And from now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, let's wait until tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight. Let this promise in me start. Like an anthem in my heart. From now on. From now on. From now on. We will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And from now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the light. And from now on, we'll wait until tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight. And this promise in this time, I can have in my heart. From now on, and we will come back home. We will come back home, home again. and we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again. From now on, from now